Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Chris Lloyd. I want to respond to a few comments he put on my own social media page and a comment he put up on social media. Right, someone was talking about Anthony Yarde fighting Buatsi. We all know that's the fight we want to see. And this is what Chris Lloyd posted. Smith and Buatsi, that's Callum Smith, are some way clear of the field now. No disrespect to Yarde, but he's not remotely in the conversation. Hold on a sec. No disrespect to Yarde, but he's not remotely in the conversation. What are you talking about, mate? Like, seriously, what are you talking about? Anthony Yarde has fought better fighters than Callum Smith at light heavyweight, right? And Joshua Buatsi. That's just a fact. So I posted the comment on my Instagram page, and I said this. I said what I said. I said I find it hard to watch Chris Lloyd break down the fight, show me he can throw a jab. Now, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Look, I don't want to be disrespectful to people. I'll give it people when I think they deserve it. Like True Geordie, or as I now know him as, Baby Geordie. That guy still doesn't want to fight, right? He's putting out clips of him boxing, like a big elephant that he is. I told you, mate, come and fight. I'm ready. I'm waiting, right? I will knock you out. I've told you. And I'm not going anywhere. Come and fight. But in regards to Chris Lloyd, look, the guy's worked hard, right? I don't know how good he is at boxing. I don't know. When he breaks down a fight, I do think to myself, you haven't got a better boxing brain than me. Now, that's what generally what I think. I generally don't think he has. I know a lot of people say, oh, he really knows his boxing. But I know he doesn't know his boxing more than me. I know he doesn't. That's just my opinion. But fair play to where he's got to. He's worked hard. So maybe it was a bit disrespectful, that comment. I don't really want to get in a slanging match with him. If he wants it, I'll give it him. But it's not a way to go all the time. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you've got to respect people's work ethic. And the guy works hard. But he's just talking absolute shite with this. Absolute fucking nonsense. So I put this. He responded with this. Blah, blah, blah. My mate Ash Maram, great amateur boxer. He got involved. He then posted this. Arthur hasn't even won a British title. They're 1-on-1. Kovalev, bar from a 20 mad seconds in the 8th, completely shut him out and knocked him out with a jab. A very old shot, Kovalev. Right. That's completely disrespectful, Chris. Right? I don't care who you are, what broadcaster you're on, who you're friends with. That's fucking disrespectful. It's not even right. Right. First of all, Yarde fought Kovalev in his own backyard, had the balls to go there to his own backyard, right, the champion's backyard abroad, right, got on a plane and was on the verge of taking him out. Yes, he got outboxed for large parts of the fights, right? But what you failed to mention is Kovalev was okay to fight Canelo the fight after that, right? And if you watch that fight again, right, Kovalev was outboxing him till he got stopped, right? So this idea that Kovalev was shot to pieces and all that, not really true, is it? Because he was giving Canelo big problems before he got taken out. And yes, Yarde got outboxed for large parts of the fight. The thing that I've realised about Anthony Yarde is just how dangerous his power is. I don't care who you fucking are. Any human being at light heavyweight has a chance of being knocked out if Anthony Yarde puts it on you. He's very explosive. Now, I was in that club. I used to think he's very overhyped. He's there to be outboxed, doesn't move his head, lack of amateur background and all this. But he converted me after the second Lyndon Arthur fight. I thought Lyndon would win the first fight. I thought Lyndon would win the second fight too. And the fact he took Lyndon out proved to me that he's a very, very dangerous fighter. And even in the Kovalev fight, he was moments away from winning that fight. Moments away. Just to dismiss that as a mad 20 seconds is just completely fucking disrespectful, mate. Completely disrespectful. I don't know if you've ever tasted punches or been sparred or been in the ring, right? Because if you have, you won't be coming out with comments like that. It's not just a mad 20 seconds, right? There's things that go on. You have to set certain shots up, right? You have to still have the heart to go on. This was the 8th round. It wasn't the first round. And the comment you made about the jab, that was in the 11th round. If people hadn't saw that fight, right, and just went off your comment, you'd think he just went in there, Kovalev, hit him with a jab, and that was the end of it. Completely inaccurate, right? And paints a bad picture, disrespectful to Yarde. As I say, I used to think Yard was there to be outboxed and he's overhyped, but the guy's proved me wrong, right? He proved me wrong even just taking that Kovalev fight, right? And he was moments away from winning that fight. Lyndon Arthur, again, he's earned more experience from the first fight and the second fight, right? So it's it's an Anthony Yard now that has more experience, more strings to his bow. When he fought Kovalev, look who he fought before. Thought nobody, fat Latvians and plumbers and builders and all this. That's what he was doing, right? So to even compete with Kovalev, I thought he did well. As I say, he was getting outboxed, but Yard is all about that explosiveness, right? If he catches you, you're in fucking trouble, right? It's as simple as that. So to suggest that he's not in the conversation with Buatsi and Callum Smith, what are you talking about? Who's Callum Smith for a light heavyweight? I love Callum Smith, great fighter, right? But I'm talking about a light heavyweight. He's not fought anyone, has he? Right? So that's nonsense. And Buatsi, look at the resume. Anthony Yard's resume has bigger names on there. Kovalev, that's for a world title. Buatsi hasn't fought for a world title. And Lyndon Arthur, right? He was WBO number 1. WBO number 1. Now, just to go down this route about has he even won a British? Right, okay, mate. If that's what you want to go down, right, if you want to say Lyndon Arthur didn't win the British title, so he's not a credible opponent, what about Conor Benn? Because all I see DAZN and Eddie and yourself do is plug Conor Benn as the next coming. He's ready for world titles, he's ready for world level, he's going to fight this one and that one. Meanwhile, his opposition's getting lower and lower. Getting worse. Last 2 fights, the opposition are fucking getting worse. I don't care what promo he's saying. I don't care how good he sounds saying it. The opposition have got worse, right? He's fighting inactive fighters. Has Conor Benn won a British title? I want to hear you with the same energy. When you're bigging up Conor Benn, if you're saying that about Lyndon Arthur, if you want to sort of disrespect him and say he's not won a British title, I want the same energy with Conor Benn, because Lyndon Arthur, on his day, can beat any of the British light heavyweights. Any of them. He's a very, very skilled fighter. Didn't perform in the second Yard fight. We understand that, right? He will know that himself. But if you think that guy's just a fucking walkover, you're completely wrong. Completely wrong. So the Anthony Yard now is different to the Anthony Yard coming into the Kovalev fight. He's got that experience. He's had 2 big domestic fights. He's lost one. He's come back he's lost twice. He's come back from that, right? So it's a different fight. He's a more polished fighter now. Maybe he's not going to try and be like Floyd Mayweather with all the reflexes and the flashy combos. Maybe he understands now that he's all about power, right? And his power is his most dangerous weapon, right? And just to say he's not in the conversation just isn't correct. It's just not correct. So disrespectful, Chris. Right? I'll say it to your face, mate. Not a problem. Right? I don't really want to disrespect a bloke because look, we can all say things off the cuff. Right? Surely, if he looks at this video, I'm sure he will retract what he said because it's just fucking nonsense, mate. Absolute nonsense. We all want to see Buatsi and Yard. Let's see the fights. I want to hear you say, I want to make this fight happen. You on DAZN, right? He's not in the conversation. What the fuck's all that about? I want to see you say, no, that's the fight we want to see. We want to see Yard and Buatsi. What a barnstormer that is. Can't understand it. Can't understand it. Now, if you look at the light heavyweight division, the mix of fighters now from Buatsi, Callum Johnson, Lyndon Arthur, Craig Richards, Callum Smith, all these fighters, they're primed and ready. They've got to fight each other. Callum Johnson and Anthony Yard, that's a brilliant fight. In fairness to Eddie Hearn, he did make Buatsi and Richard. He didn't have to make that fight, but he made it. It was a domestic British fight, and he made it. Now it's over to Frank Warren. He's got to make Anthony Yard and Callum Johnson. That's the fight to make. It's a barnstormer of a fight, right? Get that fight made. Now, we understand Yard's waiting for a world title shot. You can't blame him, right? Jack Catterall did it. He waited years for his title shot, right? And you can't blame Yard for doing the same, but you have to look at it like this. You have to look at it like, is he going to get that world title shot in the next 6 months, a year, right? Because Joe Smith's fighting Beterbiev. After the winner of that could go for unification with Bivol. We all know unification will overtake a mandatory, right? So Yard has to look at himself and say, am I going to get this shot in the next 18 months? If he is, okay, fair enough, right? But I'd still take this Johnson fight. I think it's a good fight for him. He doesn't want to be stale, right? He doesn't want to be going into that world title fight, fighting fat Latvians and tin cans again, right? That's the fight to make, because Callum Johnson, he can win that fight. right? There's no doubt about it. He can win that fight. It's a dangerous fight. He's a world-level operator. He gave Beterbiev big problems, right? All right, it was a firefight, and it didn't last long, but he knocked him down, and he caused him big problems, right? That's a tremendous fight to make. So Frank Warren's got to pay the fighters. Get your money out. Make the fight. Build it. Get the juices going. Johnson's ready. I saw him last week. He's getting back in camp. I saw him sparring, right? Let's get this made. Let's make it worth Anthony Yarde's time. Pay him if you have to, right? Let's get it made. And all these other fights, maybe there can be a tournament, or maybe there can be an unofficial tournament. We all know the politics involved with Queensberry and Matchroom. It's at an all-time low. After the Anthony Joshua step aside money and Fury and White, that debacle, I know Matchroom didn't promote that, but we all know the lack of promotion from Dylan White and all that. Was it coming from Eddie Hearn, that? And, you know, the relationship is at an all-time low. Fucking bottom of the barrel, stone cold low. But somewhere along the line, someone's got to talk. They've got to be a communication route, right? Because you've got 6 British light heavyweights, right, who can have domestic fights, right? Barnstormers, great fights, who can make money, can pack out stadiums. These can happen. We want to see this fight, any of these fights. Lyndon Arthur Richards, great fight. Johnson Yarde, Callum Smith, Buatsi Yarde, Buatsi, Callum Johnson. There's all these little fights you can make, right? Let's get him made because we want to see him. There's no excuse for it. I don't want to see Eddie Hearn talking about this one, talking about that one. I don't want to hear Frank Warren talking about his beef with Eddie Hearn. We're not interested anymore. All right, we'll listen to it a few times, right? And yes, it's easy to watch and all that, but it's good to watch if you've seen the fights made. Not if the fights aren't being made, right? Because this is getting fucking ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous, right? Make the fights happen. Surely someone in Matchroom and Queensberry can get on the fucking phone and speak. Don't have to be Eddie and Frank. Get the communications made, right? Because the British fans want to see these fights. Don't let it be another Macklin, Darren Barker, Andy Lee, those middleweights that we had. Martin Murray, you know, they never fought each other in the end. They didn't, right? And they did behind the gloves and all, the gloves are off and all that behind the table. We never saw those fights. Don't let this happen again, right? Because we're in an era now where we've got fantastic fights to make, right? We all want to see him. Going back to Chris Lloyd then, right? Is he just saying this because he works for DAZN? I'd like to think he's not, but I think there's an element of that because Chris does know his boxing, right? And just to talk like this is just fucking nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Can't understand it. Very disrespectful to Lyndon Arthur. Very disrespectful to Anthony Yarde. Right? Anthony Yarde has won me over. Right? That guy is explosive. Right? Yes, he can be outboxed. Yes, he can be outjabbed. But if he touches you, he will knock any human being at light heavyweight. I don't care if it's Beterbiev, I don't care if it's Joe Smith, I don't care if it's Lyndon Arthur, I don't care if it's Callum Smith. If he puts it on you, he can knock you out. And he's proven he can do it later on in the fight as well. Right? So you can't just dismiss that as not in the conversation. That's utterly nonsense. Even Eddie Hearn says he wants to make that fight. So I don't know what you're talking about, Chris. Talking absolute shite there, mate. I'm sure if you see it, you retract what you said because it's fucking nonsense. If you don't, that's up to you. Right, let me know your thoughts. Chris Lloyd, is he right what he's saying? Is Yarde not in the conversation? Do you want to see the fight? Tell me what fights you want to see in this little light heavyweight mix of domestic fighters. What's the one fight that you do want to see? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.